Welcome, everybody, to another Raw recap here on Pro Wrestling Sheet. I'm your host, John Rocha. I'm wearing red in honor of Raw. Joined, as always, by the CEO of Pro Wrestling Sheet and the editor-in-chief over there, Ryan Satin. How are you, buddy?
I'm wearing white because I give up. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, my God.
I'm great.
Wow.
I'm happy. I'm just kidding. No, I'm good. It's a good weekend this weekend. I went to Bola on Sunday. I went to a fun party on Saturday. I'm refreshed. Yesterday, things are happening in the wrestling world.
Yeah. Saw your tweet this morning, or from maybe last night, but all the different things that are coming down. You're like, it's a great time to be a wrestling fan.
This morning, it was announced that Impact is moving to Tuesdays when it goes to Access TV.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's going to be interesting. I mean, Raw on Monday, Impact on Tuesday, AEW and NXT on Wednesday, and then Smackdown on Friday. There's also this looming, this already announced Fox Sports Studio show. There's NXT UK. There's 205 Live.
Right.
There's a lot happening. There's ROH. There's MLW. There's lots of stuff going on.
Yeah.
So, it's a great time to be a wrestling fan for sure.
So Thursday is the night we need to aim for, is what you're saying.
Thursday night is the only night you get to see people that you love. Other than that,
You're
tell
a massive
them
wrestling
to
fan.
F off.
Oh, my gosh. There it is. Strong statement.
No, my girlfriend saw a tweet this morning, and she was like, oh, great. I'm not going to see you all week anymore. Cool.
It's like my girlfriend is. Another podcast, really? All right, so move on.
See, I told her same thing. You got to tell your girlfriend, you got to shift that mentality instead of like another podcast, really, to like another podcast, really? You know, like pumped about it because it's helping your career.
True, very true, very true. It's a good point. Well, let's jump into this thing.
But we're still gonna get shit from our girlfriends.
Yeah, probably, of course. Well, we like strong-willed women. There's nothing wrong with it.
Gotta watch wrestling.
Raw. I thought this was a good episode. I really enjoyed this one. The last month rather, it's been more consistently good than occasionally bad.
Yes.
And so I've liked that overall about Raw, and certainly the way it started out with Seth Rollins and Strowman. It's a little weird to have Rollins challenging Strowman, or Strowman challenging Rollins to a match, and then this all happening because we just had a pay-per-view with this match already happened. But, you know, you want to get the juices flowing for people as these shows are about to explode onto your TV screens that we just mentioned a few seconds ago. So what do you think of this whole opening, Seth's promo, and then Strowman coming out and blaming him for the loss of the tag team titles and then challenging him to the match?
Well, first, your point before this segment, I agree that things really feel a lot different than they felt 6 months ago, probably. Is that probably how long ago?
You could argue 3 months ago.
I guess I'm probably even being long, because WrestleMania was how many months ago? Let's see, April, so...
Yeah, four or 5 months ago.
4 or 5 months ago,
Yep.
and then right before WrestleMania, wasn't that when they came out and did the whole things are gonna change?
I think it was in February they did that, yeah.
Was that, so before WrestleMania. So yeah, like 6 months, I feel like 6 months ago, things were in a lot different of a place. I feel like morale was down. You heard about how unhappy people were backstage.
Yep.
People were asking for their releases. You had this new thing, AEW, kind of like chomping away, at biting at WWE's feet or whatever, and it was different. Things were different, a lot different than they feel right now. I think that, now that 6 months have passed or whatever, I think actually things feel a lot better. Yeah. I think that the show, the quality, especially since this executive director's thing was announced, Raw's been fantastic.
Yes.
I mean, maybe one or, there's
there've been occasional missteps,
there's
but
things I don't like or whatever, but for the most part, I've enjoyed what they've been doing with Raw.
Yep.
And I feel like, and like I was saying, even behind the scenes, like you've seen some of the wrestlers who it seemed like they were unhappy. Rusev, Sasha Banks, Luke Harper,
The Revival, Gallows and Anderson.
OC. Yeah. They've all returned and they're all being featured, and I like it. So happy about that. I feel like with, just like we said, with all these, with the wrestling landscape, the way it's about to transform a little bit with the move to Fox and returning to TNT, I feel like WWE now, because the last week before that happens, I feel like they positioned themselves really well going into it. I like everything that's happening. I'm looking forward to Fox. I'm liking the weird, the out of the box things they're doing on Raw. I'm looking forward to the draft. Yeah. So I'm not like, right now I feel like there's a lot less jaded wrestling fans. I mean, obviously if you go on Twitter, they'll tell you otherwise, but I feel like generally people are generally pretty happy with the show. This segment, I liked it. I mean, I do think that Seth Rollins I just think that Seth Rollins is a better heel.
Yeah.
I really do think Seth Rollins is better when he's cocky heel as opposed to like cool guy face. I don't know if it necessarily fits him.
Yeah.
You know, I had a friend of mine text me last night like, I feel like this Rollins run isn't really like clicking anymore. And I don't know quite how I feel about it. I don't know if it's necessary. I mean, he's done a good job of like beating people and being featured in a good light, I think, for the most part. But I think that his time as champion is coming to an end. I think it's time for the Fiend to become champion and take things in a new direction.
You're such a crazy person. I don't want the Fiend in there as champion this quickly. But I hear what you're saying. I agree with you that it's. I think that's why Seth veers into the tweener category a lot when he does his promos, when he does his challenges, even when he wrestles his matches. I mean, remember, it was the ball shot that got him the title against Lesnar. So that's not a face move. So it's more of the Attitude Era vibe with him, not obviously fully, but it is there. And I think that's what helps him stay with the fans. And I think that's also what may be fueling the frustration that he's not fully over, or it doesn't feel as authentic as a heel run would for Seth, because when he's playing the face, you're like, I don't know if you really feel the way you're talking about. I think you want to do more here and say things that are a little more vicious, but you're holding yourself back.
And I do understand that right now they need like a I don't want to say centerpiece, but like they need that like
they need a masthead. Yeah, they do.
Yeah, there we go. That's a good word of it.
They do.
And I do think that, you know, right now he is in that position. You can't really put a heel in that position as much. You need like the one guy who is like the guy.
Yeah.
And right now Roman Reigns is kind of doing not necessarily like the guy being the focus. He's kind of like one of the top guys, but I don't know if right now that he wants to be the guy. It doesn't seem, well, at least that's how it feels, you know, like they're doing other things with him so he can, you know, go do outreach type things and fundraiser type things and all those kinds of things to do the things that he believes to be important, and also for his health. So he's not just pushing himself to the max and overexerting himself to you know, because his health is important right now.
Yeah.
So I do feel like Seth is kind of important in that spot because they've already turned to AJ, so it can't be AJ.
Right.
I don't know. I've been trying to think of like who could fill that role if they were to have, you know, Seth go to SmackDown. I don't know.
That's on the roster now, you mean?
Yeah, that could be like the other top face. They would definitely have to move someone over to be, I guess, Braun.
Yeah.
But even then.
But Braun is a tweener as well.
Yeah, or he's just also not quite as over as Seth Rollins.
You know who's a good face and, you know, and an equally good heel is Ziggler. Ziggler plays both sides well.
I don't know if he could fit in that spot, though.
I don't think he's in the spot, but I'm saying he's a guy that could come close to filling that spot.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have enough oomph behind him to get into to be in that position.
Yeah.
But he's a good face and he's a good heel. He's a heel now, though. So Rollins is going to be face for a while, I think, until whatever they're going to do with the Fiend. But I know that, the conversation is back and forth online about the possibility of the Fiend. Some people say it's too soon. A lot of people say, no, give it to him. So it's going to be fun to see what WWE ends up doing. But I want to ask you this, you clarify this. The Fiend is in line here. So what is this tournament about? Is it going to be a triple threat match, or is it going to be, because the Fiend is in line to face Seth, right?
You mean the Braun stuff?
Yeah. What is this all about?
I don't know. I mean, that is how it looks, that maybe they're going to put Braun in the match.
Yeah, it's going to be a triple threat. And
so that way Seth can either lose the title without being pinned.
Right.
Or retain the title without the Fiend being pinned.
Right.
And you can build that up to another match down the road.
Right. And you'd have the anger of Strowman losing to Rollins again to fuel something down the road, as you were saying. So, yeah.
Though I really would.
Or you delay the Fiend getting the title.
I think they're doing a good job of getting Braun Strowman back there.
Yes, they have.
This thing helped.
Yep.
And doing something crazy in the cell could be it too. Like, honestly, if he does something wild in the cell, that people, like, if they put him in, let's say they put him in the match, and he does something wild in the cell,
like throwing Seth off the cell?
Or through it or something, like, and the Fiend's in the ring, and that's how the Fiend wins the title. Because, like, Braun did something so crazy that, like, he knocked himself out too.
Oh, yeah.
But then the Fiend wins and, like, snakes away with the title, and then it's, like, being held in the Funhouse. If the Firefly Funhouse has the title in the background hanging with all his other different things, it's going to be fantastic. The fact that there's people like you who are angry at the thought of it, I think
I'm
even
not angry, I just don't like
perturbed at the idea of
perturbed is good.
I think that I think that's another reason why I'm into the idea even more so, because I think that there are some people like, oh, too soon, and then it's gonna like fire them up even more and create even more interest in the fact that he won the title. But yeah, I like the idea of Braun being added to the match, so he does something crazy to get Braun does something crazy to get himself over, but then the Fiend it leads to the Fiend winning the title, and then because Braun did this. He then has to get the title back.
Right.
It's his former mentor. He did the deed to do it. He didn't lose the match. Whatever. All those kinds of things. I would like to see that. I think that with Bray Wyatt, behind the scenes, with Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman being such good friends, I believe that Braun Strowman's like the godfather of Bray Wyatt's child and stuff.
His most recent child.
Yeah. And he talked about how like Bray Wyatt basically taught him everything. Like when he first started, like when he first got brought up, like partnered with Bray. Yeah. And Bray just like taught him so much and showed him the ropes that I can see them having they have such a good relationship like that could be a feud they wanted to have. And that does have legs to go for a little while.
Yeah. I don't disagree with you there. I think it's something to explore. And I wonder if there'll be a reference to Bray and Strowman if they get into this triple threat match, a moment where they kind of have the Wyatt family thing pop up.
Well, I'm just gonna bring it up here. How far away? Yeah. I'm just gonna bring it up here because it fits into this conversation. But in the Firefly Funhouse, right. This was like the first time I felt like, well, not the first time, but this was let me rephrase that. This was another building block added to the backstory of what brought the Fiend to be brought out. Yeah, I think that there was a part where he said something about, because he talked for weeks about someone being taken from him. Right, something being taken from him. The people in WWE all took something from him. Yeah, and now he mentioned, I want to say it was like someone he loved leaving him. Right? He mentioned something like that. To me, this was now the first real heavy clue that the loss of the Wyatt family is what sparked the creation of the Fiend. Wow. Whatever happened in the Wyatt family leaving Bray's side led to the Fiend. And I saw someone, and I'm sorry if you watch this or listen and I'm taking your thing and I don't have credit for you here, I'm sorry, but I saw your tweet to me and I thought it was very interesting because they brought back that thing I mentioned a few weeks ago where he talked about the man in the woods. Remember I told you about that thing from like 2015 where he like talked about like what sounded like the Fiend, an idea of how he wasn't supposed to see this man in the woods. Right. Well, in that thing, Abigail supposedly was protecting Bray Wyatt from the Fiend, she said. Right? Like she said, I'm protecting you from the man in the woods because the man in the woods is you, and I'm protecting you from that person. But with Abigail being burned to the ground, which we've seen on the wall the whole time. Yeah. He's got that picture of Abigail being burned down. Abigail being burned to the ground and the Wyatt family leaving him, he then ventured into the woods alone and found the man inside of himself, the man in the woods, the Fiend, and that's how it came about. I feel like what's going on here is that like that all them leaving him led to the Fiend, right? And so we kind of got a building block that. So I think we are 100% going to go down that path. I actually think that it's all going to eventually. One of the people that he'll eventually feud with will be Randy Orton for burning down the thing. But down the line, I don't think we're quite there yet. But I think this is all, which I love. This is all related to all the old storylines and stuff we've seen.
Do we see a Matt Hardy in the woods waiting for?
I mean, it'd be cool. It'd be coole. I don't know what's up with Matt Hardy right now.
Or the Fiend waiting for Matt Hardy, like Matt Hardy doing some kind of delete thing, and he goes out into the woods, and then the Fiend is like as soon as he turns the corner.
I would, if they were,
he's a legend.
If they somehow work the Lake of Reincarnation into it, when he dipped into the Lake of Reincarnation, if somehow that played a part in all of this as well, I'd love it. That would be real deep, though. I'd love it. That'd be some. Us broken Hardy fans would love it, though.
The Fiend came out of the Lake of Reincarnation. Interesting.
Not impossible.
Nope, absolutely not. They bought everything. So, all right. So anyway, that sets up the main event for later on in the match. We'll see. We'll see how that turns out. But Vikings take on the OC Raiders here. This is kind of what's happening here. You've got the OC Raiders. Sorry, the OC.
The Vikings Raiders and the OC Raiders.
That's because Vikings and Raiders played this weekend in the NFL. My apologies, guys. All right, the Viking Raiders took on the OC, continuing this feud that's been happening between these four dudes. And this was a old school NWA large man throwing each other around the ring, kind of 70s. match, and it was fun to see. I saw someone tweet about it and said it was a hoss match, and I agree. That's what it felt like.
Yeah.
All you were missing was the lumber. Oh no, wait, what do you call that? With the strap. All you're missing with the strap match. That certainly felt that way. And that was what did I say? What have I been saying for weeks? Give the Viking Raiders somebody to actually wrestle, and then we can really appreciate what they can do in the ring. Certainly, that came across here.
Yeah, absolutely.
And both of them.
Absolutely. I think that, like you took the words out of my mouth. We've been saying it for weeks on here. Like, okay, we got it. The squash matches are what they are, but they needed some meat to chew on there. And this was a great example of that. I think this was fun. I'm pissed. I walked out of the room to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
And when I came back in, everyone was tweeting about the OCs or Gallows and Anderson having new entrance music.
Yeah.
Was it good? I didn't hear it. I'm pissed.
Yeah, it was good. It was good.
I was like, I walked in and I was like, I missed it. And I'm watching on stream, so I can't rewind.
Yeah. Well, if they change I feel like if they change the music, that means they've got faith in you. Like they put the effort in to change the music. They see that you're going to be doing what you're doing for a little bit of time. So I think, because why would you waste the effort if it's no point? I don't mean that. With Ziggler's different. I know you want his music to change. I don't mind it. And I think it still works for him. So they don't change it. But with Gallows and Anderson, you have to kind of let them be their own thing. And by doing that, and even in this match, because AJ was out there, then Cedric came out and had a whole thing with him. And so they pushed him out of the way so that we could focus on Gallows and Anderson and we could focus on the Viking Raiders. And I thought that was smart.
I also laughed because it's like, there's still everyone going like, oh yeah, Cedric Alexander isn't being buried. Like, of course he's being buried.
Oh, yeah,
like,
I don't understand
after we were talking about it last week, and then they're like, no, Cedric Alexander, he's done. And then he runs out and he beats up AJ Styles, and AJ Styles gets no offense in. Cedric Alexander beats up AJ Styles, and that's not burying AJ Styles. So I don't understand.
This is how it works, people. This is how it works.
I legitimately feel like there are people in the wrestling world who are using the term buried wrong. We've discussed this.
Yes, we have.
This one, the whole Cedric Alexander thing is a perfect example of it. I heard someone say,
to be fair, I would never call what was happening to Cedric being buried.
Correct. No. I know that. But I've made my stance known on people overusing that term of buried. There is someone on the show I feel like who is being buried a little bit. But it was not Cedric Alexander. I laughed because they said that, for those of you who are saying Cedric Alexander wasn't buried, that if he wins the United States title, that it's a redemption thing. Well, they were like, no. If Cedric Alexander wins the United States title now, then it's also burying the United States title. And I was like, what? I was like, what
makes no sense.
What are people saying sometimes?
Yeah, that makes no sense.
That made me laugh, that one, but
I don't understand that at all.
I didn't understand that one at all. But yeah, so I was happy to see Cedric Alexander here get a little comeuppance. Obviously, that's where this is going.
This is going to be a battle that rages for a while.
Yes, and I like that we're seeing good faces, some faces that we've wanted to see on the show.
Yeah.
Cedric Alexander, Viking Raiders and OC getting an actual dope match against each other where they both get to show what they can do. Ivar, man.
Oh, yeah.
I hate that name. Handsome was such a name that rolled off the tongue much better. But he's got potential to be like a big deal in WWE one day. Like, I think Ro is great too.
Yeah, sure.
But I honestly believe like the money is in Ivar one day as like a legit threat to the title as a singles competitor. Like, that guy can fly around and do things. It's like, it's really impressive the things he can do in the ring.
Oh,
yeah. It reminded me this weekend, not quite the same, but there's a wrestler who was at Bola named Caveman Ugg. And another wrestler named Black Taurus.
Ooh.
And
I like that.
Caveman Ugg, you can assume what his gimmick is just based on the name. Black Taurus is like a man bull. And so you had a 10-man tag match, and on one side of the ring was Caveman Ugg, on the other side was Black Taurus. And I said to the guy next to me I was watching the show with, I was like, oh, I can't wait till the two of them. The Caveman's got to go against the man bull, obviously.
Right.
And so they both tag in finally, and they're like against each other, and they're fighting a little bit, and then they back to separate corners, and they just start. One guy, the Caveman, I think was first. He grabs one of his opponents off the apron and he uses him as a weapon and just tosses him
Yeah.
at Black Taurus as like a wrecking ball, and it goes flying into Black Taurus. Black Taurus goes knocking back and stands up, and then he grabs one of the other guy's opponents and throws him as a wrecking ball at Caveman Hug, and then they just start taking their opponents one by one and just tossing them at the other guy as weapons. One of my favorite moments of the entire show, because it was just like, I had tweeted earlier, it's one of those things where, like, only in wrestling can you see a caveman and a man bull throwing men at each other as a weapon. I love it. So yeah, I got a little off topic there, but I love that kind of stuff. So,
right,
and it reminded me of the Haas fight thing, because I love those kind of just like big Haas fight, like big dudes just beating the shit out of each other. I love it.
Yeah.
So this was definitely that. And also it was Viking Raiders who won,
Yeah,
right?
they won.
I thought it was smart to do. I thought it was good to do that.
Yeah, I was worried that that Gallows Anderson losing here would be, oh my God, here they are losing again. But they fought a hell of a match.
Yes.
So they lose nothing losing this match.
And being attached to AJ right now with clearly WWE pushing behind them,
Yep.
I don't think it matters. I don't think they lose much. They were already losing prior. It's not like they're on some giant winning streak or something like that. So I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I agree with it as well. All right, let's move on to this, one of my favorite segments of the night, and that was Becky Lynch sitting down with Michael Cole. As Ryan said last week, she's on another level, and I think we both agree it's because they finally took the shackles off and let her be her again, let her be the man again, and certainly in this, I love that she's saying, and this is what's interesting to me, and I love this angle that hasn't been played that much in any competition. I want that person at their best. I want that person on a winning streak. I want that person at the top of their game. So when I beat them, it makes the victory that much more sweeter. It tastes even better, but your best still wasn't good enough against me.
Yes.
And I love that. I'm not sending, allegedly Tanya Harding down to cap you in the kneecap or anything like that. I want you fully healthy. Let's do this thing. And there are some competitors who are legitimately in real sports, and nothing against WWE, in real sports, who like that, who feel that they want people at their best. So when they beat them, no one else can say, oh, if you fought this guy or this girl, you wouldn't be able to do it. So I like this kind of angle she's playing.
Do you have to use allegedly with Tanya Harding still?
Well, I don't know, because there wasn't.
It's been like decades. They made a movie about it where they showed it happening.
I'm on a show that could get sued. So
they made a movie about it that she was involved in where it happened.
They didn't say 100% that she was involved.
They pretty much said she was involved.
They implied.
The guy was acting on her behalf.
So, yeah, right. But in the movie, it does not say that she initiated it or instigated or came up with it. It's that she hid details.
You had to say, I'm not trying to say there should be like a Tanya Harding situation.
Yeah.
That's better, right?
Okay.
Or would you say Nancy Kerrigan situation?
Thanks, Dad. Yeah, Nancy. Well, either way, I think they both work.
It's Tanya Harding.
It's a Tanya Harding.
It's a Tanya Harding.
Yeah, I prefer Tanya anyway. No offense, Nancy.
Oh, look at you.
Oh, yeah, totally. Please.
Even though Tanya Harding,
you give me a hard scrabble poor person that fought their way to the top, and unfortunately was a victim of her background and environment. In the end, over a pretty princess who was pushed to the top, I will take the hard scrabble fighter.
You can't say she didn't have talent.
They both had talent.
Yeah, but it's not like she didn't have talent.
One had it handed to her, one fought for it.
Handed to the top.
One fought for it,
You don't think Nancy Kerrigan worked her ass off to get there? You think Nancy Kerrigan just skated up to a fucking facility? Sorry, damn it. You think Nancy Kerrigan just skated up to the ice rink and just started doing spinsies and had no work done? I think spinsy is the correct term in
I'm just going to let you go with this one.
What's it called? A triple axel?
Sure. Well, she didn't do the triple axel. Tanya did.
Double axel.
Suck it. Tanya did. Tanya did the triple.
Suck it. I'm a Tanya fan. To the point you're making, I agree. I love when competition is elevating each other. Yeah. I think that's why people are so pumped on Wednesday night right now, and hoping that it leads to a competitive battle between these two companies leads to an upswing in viewership for everybody.
Yeah.
Similar with that, and mixed in with Fox, WWE moving to Fox.
Yeah.
I think people are hoping that all of these things create even more eyes on the product. But yes, you're right. I mean, it does. And so, I even, I was talking to Dorian here the other day, who he's been watching all these classic films that he's never seen. And I did the same thing one summer. I went and looked back at just like every classic movie I'd never watched on DVD. I tried to, at least. And my favorite thing about the 70s was that it was all these directors who we all love now, still to this day. But there was like this time period where they all just wanted to make a better movie than the other one. And they didn't want the other one to make a worse movie.
Right.
They wanted them to make a dope movie so that they could be like, hell yeah, I'm going to make an even doper movie than that one. And that whole time period was probably the best time in cinema. Like those movies that they were all making at that time period were so influential to what entertainment industry became and the movie business became and stuff, that like now it's budgets and it's more of like studio versus studio and who can schedule days better and who has a better machine behind them. But that time it was so much more raw and just like directors going against directors,
Top
you know?
that.
Yeah, top that.
Yeah.
Top that. And so that's why I love stuff like this too. I'm the same way. I love when there's two people going against the top of their game. It's why I'm so excited for Sasha versus Becky right now, because I think it's, that Hell in a Cell match, I feel like it's going to kill it. They're both, they're coming to bring their A game. And so I like the way they've been building up this feud.
Yeah.
And I feel like is the match next? No, I'll wait for it. But yeah, no, I loved it, and you're right. I like that that's the angle they're going with this one, because sometimes they'll do like the whole dream match thing, and I don't like that as much. But I like when the good guy is like, no, I want that bad guy to be on my level, so that I can show them who's better. I love that.
I just love that she said, I want to make history, and I can't do it by myself.
Love that.
So people need to step the F up and come to me so that I can make my name and be pushed even harder to be even better. I respect that.
Totally. It's why I like the Kofi Kingston Brock Lesnar thing. It's the exact same mentality of like, I do want to fight you. I do want to wrestle you, because in order to make my legacy up with on that same level, this is what I have to do, you know? And so I love that mentality. So I like these sit downs with Michael Cole.
They're working.
He does good. He always does good, I feel like, in the sit down environment.
I don't disagree with you.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with you. All right, let's move on to, my God, there's been an EC3 sighting on Raw. He took on Rusev here. This whole thing about the Kanellis baby came. But I just was happy to see Rusev again. I was happy to see EC3 again. What did you think of the match?
Excuse me. It's funny how there was like, I like the we want Lana chant during the match. And the fact they pointed out on commentary makes me think it's definitely something they're going to, it's going to be factored into all of this. I feel like Rusev being involved in the baby stuff is just a distraction until Lana comes back to, and they're reunited and they're at full Bulgarian strength or whatever.
Yeah.
Full Bulgarian Russian strength.
Rusev.
The match wasn't bad. I'm bummed. I was hoping we were going to see Maury Povich on the show last night, because he posted a video where he's saying he wants to help Maria with her baby drama and let her know who the daddy is.
No!
Yes!
It's over.
What's over?
This whole storyline needs to be over.
No.
So many people agree with me online.
So many people don't agree with you too, though.
That's a big deal. I don't listen to those people.
Oh. Sorry, I'm just thinking about everyone on your case this weekend about MAGA Rambo.
MAGA Rambo. Oh, yeah, you haven't seen it yet,
No,
though.
I haven't, but I saw Vinny reply to you.
Yeah.
And then I DM'd him, and I was like, I asked him, like, all right, so tell me a little bit about the MAGA stuff. And he was telling me, and I was like, oh, that does sound like, and then it does sound like a MAGA movie. And then I read some of the reviews, and I was like, oh, no, man, but John's Hispanic. And like, why is John not offended by it when everyone else is?
You know how many likes my tweet got? My tweet got almost 600 likes, 700 likes for that. I don't get that many on my tweets.
Was it all MAGA crowd people?
No, there were a lot of Latinos who commented and said the same thing. One guy commented and said, I went with my mother. We're both full-blooded Mexican people. We didn't find any offense in the movie or any MAGA bullshit in the movie.
How many likes do have like an American flag next to it?
I don't know. I don't count that.
Okay, I'm just wondering.
Jesus. But there were a lot of Latinos who commented and felt the same way in their reviews. I think it's such a bullshit argument, because even when I was going back and forth with Bibiani said, it shows cartels. I'm like, no, it's one cartel in one part of Mexico, in one small town in Mexico, and it just happens to be part of the storyline. There are plenty of positive characters in the movie that are Latina. To me, that's the frustrating part of it.
Cartels do exist.
Yeah, hello, they do exist, and they do terrible things to people. Oh my God, what a shock! Like it's mind blowing to me. I think it is, and this is my personal feeling, is I think liberal critics are going. And by the way, I'm a liberal, so kiss my ass. Liberal critics are going in with their own political agenda. They're watching the movie because they know Stallone's a Republican. He was shot with President Trump at something, signing the thing for Jack Johnson. And they think, oh, this is a MAGA movie. It's ridiculous. Stupid, stupid, stupid. It's just Stallone as Rambo taking out revenge against these people who hurt an innocent character.
Stallone as Rambo slaughtering bad Mexicans trying to hop the border.
Slaughtering villains.
I haven't even seen it. I don't know. I'm just kidding.
They're not even trying to hop the border. I know somebody said to me, I thought it was a MAGA movie when he asked him about the Trump immigration policy and shot the guy when he didn't agree with him. I was like, I don't know how I missed that. You're right.
What scene was it? Must have been the director's cut. I didn't see that one yet.
I like the one about the wall and then he shot those people. It's just such a bullshit argument, in my opinion. I think it's such a wasted argument.
Honestly, they should put you in the campaign for the movie because you caping for it and then seeing all the other reviewers saying that it's a MAGA movie has made me want to go see it now. Yeah. Like I've been more than the campaign for the movie has and stuff. Like I've seen you and Vinny's tweets where I was like, okay, well now I got to see this movie.
I'll happily walk into the ring with any film critic or film reviewer and battle about this film. I have no problem with it because I think people are bringing their own liberal points of views into the movie and instilling that. And it's ironic because they're the ones claiming that the film is making a political statement when in fact the reviews are making a political statement about the film. And I think that's the irony of this whole situation. That's my personal, because I'm no MAGA guy and I'm no fucking, Republican, but a film is a film sometimes. And that's just a film. And people are using other Rambo films that are political, like First Blood was about, how we treated our Vietnam War vets. Part 2 was about getting those vets out of the POWs and the lies the government told about POWs in Vietnam. And the third film was about helping the Mujahideen against Russia because they were a bad force occupying that area of Afghanistan. The fourth film was about the Burma situation and missionaries who were stupid and went into Burma and got their asses in trouble and you had to go save them. This film is about what happens when a young person is corrupted by something evil. And we have to stop that evil from spreading on the planet. That's what he was saying.
Even if that evil's Mexican.
It happens to be Mexican. I wonder if he killed a white supremacist group, the liberals would be like, yes, this is great.
When you text him, probably.
Yeah, and that's like, well, no, it's not an indictment on white people.
They're actually evil, though.
So...
all white supremacists are evil.
Right.
That's the difference. You can't really compare.
So cartel. I don't want to get killed.
I mean, not every person in the cartel is a bad person.
Okay.
Not every person in a cartel murders.
You got to cut this out.
No, I'm just saying. Not every single person in a cartel is like a murderer.
I don't know. I know.
Well, I know.
Well, I do.
Every person who's a white supremacist is a bad person.
Okay.
No?
You don't think that there might be within white supremacy some young kids that are confused because their parents grew up?
Yes.
That's what I'm saying to you. So if we're going to have understanding on one side, you got to have understanding on the other.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with you that a majority of the white supremacists are probably evil people, right? But there are some people who get indoctrinated in that way of life and then come out of it and then school other people about how to walk out of that. There are a number of people who do that, who come out of prison, white supremacists, realize what happened and then go back, try to school people not to become white supremacists. So
yes.
I mean, I think that's certainly possible.
Fair.
Yeah, and the cartel too. There's a lot of people who used to work at cartels who come out of that situation trying to get people not to join it.
Yes,
because they also recruit
a lot of people
young.
are forced into both. So fair.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
Anyway, bring it back around.
It's not a MAGA movie. Anyway, go ahead.
It's not a MAGA movie. Go see Rambo, Last Blood.
Go have fun, goddammit. Yeah, don't go in there with your fucking liberal bullshit. Just go have fun.
Just go have fun. Just go watch Rambo kill some people. Right, man? Come on.
When I interviewed him, all he talked about was that I just want to show the brutality that people don't show in films, that what really happens in violence between people who come at each other. And I wanted to expose that. And I appreciate that sentiment. That's all. Anyway, guess we can move on.
I mean, it's just like the Joker movie. It's like they're both.
I'm not touching that.
We'll get back to wrestling.
Yeah,
sorry.
I haven't seen it, so I'm not
touching it. To bring it all back around, though.
Yeah.
The Mike Kanellis baby drama story and Maria, it's polarizing. I understand.
It is polarizing.
It's very polarizing. I've enjoyed it. The match itself here, it was what it was. It was a quick thing to help get Rusev over. I would love to see more EC3 on TV. I was like pumped to see. It's funny, when they showed EC3, I went like, oh, cool. Oh,
Yep.
he's going to lose really fast.
Yep.
Bummer. I had a friend text me that said, it's crazy that Vince watches the show or sees EC3 backstage and thinks to himself, nope, can't think of anything for that guy to do. You know, it's crazy.
It's
I don't know what that guy did, but I would love to see him featured in a better light. Maybe a move to SmackDown would be helpful in the draft.
Yeah. Or shit, NXT.
I just don't know if he'd be featured as much in NXT as he would on SmackDown. I feel like in SmackDown he would.
Okay.
I don't know. It could be exactly the same spot.
It'd be nice to get him more featured either way.
Yeah.
You know. Anyway, okay, we'll see what happens with the Rusev. I'm sure Lana's going to kick the shit out of Maria Kanellis when she comes back, so that's going to be part of the story. And maybe that's it. And she'll have the baby first, right? Oh, did she have the baby already? I can't tell. I don't remember.
No, she's barely been pregnant.
Lana's not going to beat her up.
I think you got like 7 more months of this, Rocha.
Shit. But then Lana,
you better strap in, buddy.
Lana can't beat her up.
We haven't even gotten to the Angelo Dawkins unfolding of things.
Lana can't beat her up, though, because that's pregnant. It's a killing of a baby. You can't have that.
She cannot.
Storyline a little too far.
She cannot kill Maria Kanellis' baby. Correct.
Exactly. So I don't know how they're going to work all that out. Anyway, let's move on. Carmella finally. Months of predictions finally came true. Carmella,
long overdue,
wins the 24/7 championship. This was so much fun to have her finally do it. But I wonder, in my own opinion, if it's the last thing she does involved in this and goes back to singles wrestling. I wonder, because her winning it is kind of like will they or won't they of old sitcoms. Mm-hmm. Will they or won't they? Mm-hmm. Her finally winning it kind of closes the door on this, right?
Well, and also because she's involved in the things going on with Bailey and Sasha and Charlotte too, so I was a little confused by that, but maybe because the draft's gonna come up. I've been wondering this because the women's tag titles and the 24/7 belt can be defended across lines.
Yeah.
But with the draft coming up, they made it very clear that the shows are separate now.
Yeah, the shows are separate.
Which I feel like that means 24/7 title and the women's tag titles are going to become exclusive to a certain show.
Yeah, probably.
I feel like the 24/7 title is going to become exclusive to Raw. Mm-hmm. The women's tag titles will become exclusive to SmackDown.
Yeah, that seems right.
Where are Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross right now?
They're Raw.
Something's going to have to happen there. There's no way that those two are going to be able to keep crossing across company lines like that with the new.
Yeah.
Because Fox is Fox. They want people who are going to be on Fox to be the Fox people.
Yeah.
And they want people who are going to be on USA to be the USA people. And I'm sure the studio show is different because Fox Sports won and they're going to be promoting WWE as a whole. But I feel like I'm wondering how they're going to handle all this.
Yeah.
Regardless of that, questions aside, so long overdue for Carmella to finally win the 24/7 title here. Yeah. I also thought that as much as I love the 24/7 title, it was starting to become a little repetitive.
Yes, it was.
It was starting to be, I don't want, it almost felt like they were starting to run out of ideas almost.
Yeah, because everyone was getting pinned so quickly, there was no drama to it.
And I also think that they were so reliant on R-Truth that I liked initially that it was like, R-Truth had it for a few weeks. Then Jinder Mahal had it for a few weeks. Then Drake had it for a few weeks. And it was almost like they were giving different comedic wrestlers time to shine to see what they could do. But then it just like always defaulted back to R-Truth, which isn't bad because R-Truth has been
great,
incredibly entertaining with it. But I do think that they were starting to kind of like run out of steam a little bit. Like even the Drake Maverick stuff, as funny as it was, the fact that they never finished that consummation storyline, it started to kind of become just like, well, this is. Okay, we get it.
Yeah.
You know, like either have him consummate the marriage or not. Like he's been talking about it for 2 months now or whatever. True. So I liked that this like big train of people who we've had chasing the 24/7 title all around. Finally, like wait, just stop. Stop. We've been doing this forever. I'm tired of it.
Yeah.
And they all like look and like they sat there and then she pins, she wins. One, great moment that Carmella wins.
Absolutely.
Finally, it needed to happen. Two, I love that good friend R-Truth is not angry, doesn't try to pin her back.
Yeah.
Instead, he raises her arm by a good friend and runs her out of there like she's been doing to him the past few months. Yeah. Like that. Three, I liked that. You felt like that song, Hello, darkness, my old friend. Like when the 24/7 title was now on a woman and it was being run out, and all the 24/7 title guys realized that like they had nothing to do on the show now. Like that was the song, and then the ladies all came running out to chase her or whatever, and the guys just stood there with like alone in their sadness.
I thought it was brilliant.
Not sure what to do now. I loved it because you can just. I heard that song, "The Sound of Silence," playing in my head as they're all just like Drake Maverick is sitting. I'm gonna make an edit to that after this. But then them just sitting there in silence, watching their hands. Like, what am I gonna do?
Yeah,
great idea. Also, I feel like similar to the men, there's a lot of women who are comedic that will have fun with the 24/7 title. Sure. I know you don't like them, but the Iconics. You know that now Carmella has it. Yeah. The Iconics are going to be great with the 24/7 title when they eventually win it.
Here's what I'm going to tell you.
I'm excited for this.
Yeah, and this is no lie, and people know who've watched or listened to me do these recaps long enough. I can change my mind about people. I went into a wormhole a few days ago when I was in London because I was like having jet lag like crazy. I just got back on Sunday. I had fucking jet lag crazy. Sorry, Scottsdale. But I was watching some NXT, old NXT. People were like celebrating 20 years or whatever, or however long it's been.
Not 20 years.
I'm sorry, for however long it's been is the anniversary or whatever.
Yeah.
And some people posted some old match of Peyton Royce. And so I went in on the network into the wormhole to watch her matches in NXT. And people who've been pushing me to watch her matches in NXT, you were right. She can wrestle when given the opportunity. So here's my thing. I think now, you just mentioned what you said, Nikki Cross and Alexa. I think you turn the Iconics face and I think you give them the belts and you let them wrestle to the full potential and they will get over like gangbusters. And I will become one of their biggest fans. Let them wrestle, turn them face. They're pretty damn good at what they do and they're great on the mic. So they can jump from brand to brand and it works.
So I would like you to say 3 words. 4 words, actually.
There's 5 words I need you to say. That's Armageddon reference. Anyway, go ahead. Yes?
Ryan, you were right.
Ryan, you had a point.
I'll take
that's
that.
What I'll say.
That's a good consolation. I'll take that.
I'll go to that far.
I want to see the Iconics with
Let them wrestle.
Totally. But they are hilarious.
Yes.
And I would love to see them with the 24/7 title and because they're working together with it, it'll be really hard to pin them because the other one is right there. Yeah. And you get so many of Billy doing the you gotta be joking me and all that kind of stuff. I'm ready for it. They need to do more with the Iconics. So them. There's also, I'm sure Dana Brooke will get it at some point. I'm sure
Alicia Fox should get it.
I don't know what her status is right now.
Okay.
But there's a lot of women who could have some fun. She would have been fun with the title if she was wrestling right now. I don't know if she is.
Natty would be fun with it.
All of them. You're right. Totally. Absolutely.
There's a lot of women.
Lacey Evans for a minute.
Oh, Lacey would be great.
Could be fun.
Just don't give her a speeding ticket.
How funny was all? Well, I was going to bring that up when we get to her match because I love all that.
That was great.
But yeah, so I think this is a great decision. I think this kind of breathes some new life into the 24/7 title.
Don't disagree with you. All right, Sasha Banks and Nikki Cross go at it here in this match that prepares both of them for their upcoming matches. I thought this was good. Sasha's doing her thing. Nikki doing her thing. It was not a spectacular match, but I enjoyed it.
They gave him a lot of time.
They did. It was a long match.
I think that's maybe why some people were a little felt like it didn't quite meet the expectation they would have had for a long match between those two. However, it was still good.
Yeah.
It was a good match. It was entertaining between the two of them. Yeah. And ultimately, I'm glad that they had a long match where Sasha went over finally. Yes. I mean, she kind of needed it.
Yeah.
She'd been, she's been doing this thing since she came back, which people are really into. But she also, at a certain point, wins and losses do matter. And if you're coming back and you're this renewed vibe, but you keep losing in different ways, even if it's DQ or whatever, at a certain point, you got to win some matches too in order for people to really get behind this. And like you said, if it's about everyone being at their top game, the two competitors being at the top of their game, I think that having this competitive match with Nikki Cross showed she can do that. Made her look like a badass when she started beating her up after already winning and then beating up Alexa Bliss. Yeah. I liked all that. I did think it was a good match. Yeah, I thought so too. My thing is Nikki's, the more time you give her, unfortunately, you can expose some things in Nikki when you're watching. And I think that's going to be something that I hope they're giving her this time so that she can watch this tape and be like, okay, I can change that. I can fix that. I can tighten that up because she has all the potential in the world. She's still a young wrestler. People need to remember that. But the thing with the knee
me, she was over it that quick. That is like 80s shit. You know, nowadays, people work through the injury through the match to make it believable. There are emotional beats you run through with that kind of stuff. They all do it, and you got to learn how to do it as you watch people do it and watch yourself do it, so it's believable for fans who are watching. The Bayley thing was weird, though, wasn't it? Like, she didn't get a chance to get back into the situation.
Yeah, it was.
So that was a little strange, but I think they just want to give Nikki a little more time to shine. And you're right, they had to put Sasha over with a victory, but I think Nikki, everyone knows what Sasha is. Everyone knows what Bayley is. Nikki is the X factor here. They're trying to get a little more time.
And also, I mean, you have to remember, too, that Nikki was wrestling a little bit different of a style when she
that's
was
very
the
true.
other version of her character. She was able to kind of like go from her normal wrestling self to kind of like manic, like crazy. And it's a little different with this new character, and I think she's still figuring that out.
Yeah, and that's going to come in time. Definitely. All right, Ember Moon, you mentioned this match, Ember Moon versus Lacey Evans. Let's talk about it.
That Canada stuff was crazy. I was, so I went to a party on Saturday night, and I was busy getting ready for the fancy party, so I had to like get ready, get nice. I wasn't really paying attention to things on Saturday, and then Sunday I was like bullet out. So Monday when I got back to my computer to start doing things, I saw that Lacey Evans statement, and I was like, what's everyone talking about? Like, you know? And I went and watched the video, and my girlfriend was laughing. She was like, I watched this over the weekend. It's hilarious. Why were people making such a big deal about it? I was like, I don't know. Canada was really mad about this, apparently.
Yeah.
It was so clearly not a thing that she did for real.
Yeah.
Lacey Evans is a former in the military.
Yeah.
Like, she's like so respectful of law enforcement. I never in a million years would I've ever thought that she would have done that. Also, if she had, there's no chance in a million years that the officer would have been that cool about the situation.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Like, I get it. One time my stepmom said to me, like, Ryan, I'm a middle-aged white woman. I would not be arrested for doing that. And to a certain degree, she's not wrong.
Yeah.
You know, she was doing crazy, but I was like, you shouldn't do that while driving. She's like, Ryan, I'm not going to get arrested. You know, like, and I'm like, damn, that's crazy. But I don't think Lacey Evans feels that way, that she can cut her promo on a police officer as he walks her car on camera, especially with the way the internet is these days, where people post things that police officers do all the time. It's ridiculous that anyone took it that seriously. I mean, obviously, so from the reports that came out afterwards, and also for those of you who didn't see it, maybe, there's Lacey Evans tweeted a video in Edmonton where she got there and it's a cop giving her a speeding ticket, and basically she's just doing the whole like, do you know who I am, you nasty, like I ain't gonna pay that, like, and all that kind of thing. And he's like, well, no, I don't know who you are, and yes, you are gonna pay this. And she's like, how dare you, you nasty, and doing like her whole thing, you know. And does that get Lacey Evans?
That's a good Lacey Evans.
Yeah. And so it's
a sassy Lacey Evans.
and then like local news did a story about how it was a legit traffic stop, so people thought the whole thing was legit.
Yeah.
And what happened is that the whole thing was not legit. It was just the part that like she got a traffic ticket, and then she asked the cop politely after getting the traffic ticket if she could film this thing because she's a professional wrestler and thought it'd be funny. And he said yes, and they filmed it of him handing the ticket to her again. But then she had released a statement apologizing, which honestly, I wish she hadn't.
Yeah?
I wish she hadn't put that statement out. Because like...
Well, I mean, she had to.
Did she?
Yes, man, because of the reaction. People didn't get it. But that's because... Okay,
look at... Okay, real fast.
Okay.
As someone who has now worked in news for 10 years, there's one thing I've learned.
What's that?
They're going to talk about something else the second it happens.
Right, of course.
And they are done with talking about you.
Yes.
If she had just not said anything for a week, she would have been the biggest heel in Canada, and nobody would have cared. Like, and nobody would have talked about the thing again. She wouldn't have been looked at as someone who's negative towards law enforcement.
Right.
That's how I look at it. And then she could have done an interview in 10 years where she was like, no, it was like on camera. Like,
yeah, but I think, first of all, she's a woman, so men are more inclined, unfortunately, to say negative things to someone like this. Second of all, it was against a cop or a policeman, and so people, it's a very highly charged time now about, you mentioned so I think what her PR team, what WWE probably said to her was, okay, we didn't expect people to actually believe this and not see it as a kayfabe situation. This is dangerous for us. This could be dangerous for you, because who knows where she could be at any moment, and a cop who saw that video and doesn't know, or a policeman doesn't know that it's wrestling or blah, 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 could treat her in a negative way. or people who are fans of the police could confront her in a public place and say negative things to her. So I think it's the smarter move to do it. I get your point.
Well, I was gonna say, as someone who's covered news for 10 years, I know that a lot of people don't read things.
Yes.
And so I don't know if I believe that her putting that statement out tempers the flames of people who were angry.
Like, you hope the same people who carried the video will carry the statement. You hope.
Yes, but I don't know if I think that people who were, if there's one thing I've noticed, people who don't care about the follow-up.
Yeah.
They're like, they were angry about the thing, and they don't care about what the actual truth was. They were like, no, we just want to be angry at the person for a day. Right. People just want to be angry on the internet.
It's true.
They just want a place to vent. Twitter has become the comment section, and so people just want to be angry.
Yeah.
Like, and so I don't know. I felt like I get why she did it. I understand.
Right.
I just feel like she could have been super heel if she had just like kept on with it, and I don't think it would have caused anyone in WWE or her additional problems.
Yeah, and I think possibly, but I don't think another thing is if she was like Stone Cold level of famous, then I think it wouldn't be an issue, right? But because Lacey's still building, people don't know her as well as they would know.
That's why it's great, because she's like this American girl,
and
who's
maybe
this sassy Southern belle who mouthed off to the Canadian Royal Mountie Police or whatever. I love that.
And maybe another person would be okay with writing it out, but maybe Lacey, because she has such respect, being a former military person for these institutions that serve and protect, didn't want to send the wrong message.
Let's be honest. If she's going to apologize to Canada for anything,
oh, here we go.
It should be for that terrible sharpshooter she did in this match.
Yeah, and obviously it was done so that Natty could say some crap in the back. Don't you think?
I don't,
because Natty had that on cue.
I don't know if that was intentional.
Okay.
Because if it was, great.
I feel like it was intentional.
If it was intentional, I apologize. I'm sorry, because it definitely looked like someone doing the sharpshooter who had never seen someone do a sharpshooter before.
She has put on the sharpshooter before. Lacey did.
I'm just saying what it looked like this
on
time.
Natty, I think.
She fell while doing it.
I know.
I mean, people give The Rock crap for his sharpshooter and The Miz crap for his figure four. This was rough. And I'm a Lacey Evans fan.
Yeah.
And I said to my girlfriend, I was like, oh man, dude, I defend Lacey so much. And then she falls while doing a sharpshooter. Like, people do the sharpshooter to their little brother and their older brother and stuff while they're wiggling around trying to stop them.
Yeah.
And don't fall.
Yeah.
Just saying. Just saying.
Wow.
But I did actually, sharpshooter aside, because it worked for the joke, I did enjoy this match.
Yeah, I enjoyed the match.
I still feel the same way where they're putting Lacey in these kind of like matches with people who I don't understand where they are in their own character right now, so it's a little confusing, which a la Ember Moon. But I will say Ember Moon did some cool stuff in this match.
She does it every match. That's the problem. The commentators were all saying she's looking for redemption, she's on her way back, blah 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 blops, and then she lost. So it's like, I never understand why the WWE does that.
Yeah.
Like, you want to talk about, that's more burying than what they're doing to Cedric Alexander.
Agreed.
Because people elevate.
Maybe not intentional, but I agree.
Right,
Like, I don't think it's intentionally burying, but yes, I agree.
It happens all the time. The commentators are getting the cues from the back about what to talk about.
Yes.
Not word for word mostly, but they do get in the back to talk about it. But they were all talking about Ember and her redemption, because she obviously is SmackDown, she's not on Raw, and she was doing this thing, and she ends up losing in a clumsy way. You're just like, well, this is legitimately burying, and this is the things that we've complained about. Naomi, her, like, it's frustrating to watch them being misused even under the new regime.
Fair. No, that's a fair point. And it's tough because I don't know. There's only so many people you can retool at a time.
Yeah, true. I agree.
You know?
But there's nothing to retool about Ember.
I think there's a lot to retool about
Let
Ember.
her fight.
I think similar to AOP, she needs to like go away for a few months.
Yeah?
And then have some like cool vignettes that like promote her return or something.
Okay.
And she got injured, so she was gone for a little bit. I think she needs the AOP treatment where they figure out what they want her character to be. I feel like she was called up in a draft or a shakeup or whatever because she was the top female NXT at the time. That was just the natural progression of things, and she has kind of been lost since. I do think that she is someone who would be best served with a little bit of a going away period, and I'm hoping that's maybe what they're doing with Naomi.
Okay,
is they're letting you get out of sight, out of mind, and then giving her some big return, because I'm wondering where the hell she is right now.
Yeah.
I don't know if she's injured. I gotta look into that, but But yeah, that move that they did, there was one sequence particularly in this match where Lacey dumped I think it was like Lacey dumped Ember out of the ring, and then she jumped out, but then there was that thing where Ember was like hanging by her feet, and then she came up, lifted herself up, grabbed the stunner, and then did the stunner to the outside of the ring. Looked awesome.
It did.
It looked really, really cool. And Lacey obviously is the right one to go over here. I mean, but that sharpshooter. Oof.
Yeah, that was rough to watch. Something that wasn't rough to watch though was Firefly Funhouse. That's next. Finally, we
talked about that one already.
Yeah. Okay. So we talked about it already.
Right?
Fine.
Is there more you wanted to add to that?
No, there's more. It was just good.
It was great.
It was good because I think the last 2 weeks haven't been as strong. This one was definitely strong again. This idea. Do you think there's any possibility that this is a family thing, like Rotunda, or any? Do you think they would work that in any way, shape, or form? Like and Bo Dallas, is there?
It would not surprise me to see down the line, because of what I've been talking about with how I feel like the Wyatt family leaving him.
Yes.
Played into all of this.
Right.
It doesn't seem out of the question for me to think that he's building a new family, maybe, and that's what all these puppets are. They're other people that are going to be, and one by one, we get the real manifestation of them or something. I don't know, but
Rambo and Rabbit could be Bo Dallas. The Vulture could be his dad. It's all there.
I mean, there are pieces there. It could.
Just saying.
And I like that we have a new blank picture on the wall.
Yeah.
I love the little things he's sprinkling in like that. Good stuff.
It shows you he's paying attention. And you know, as a TV producer, like those are the things that people notice. They're subtle, but they're evident. And that's going to keep you thinking, oh, this guy he cares about what I think as well by putting this kind of effort into it, which you respect.
I also feel like "see you in hell" is a cooler catchphrase than "yowie wowie."
Yeah.
When he does that "see you in hell" thing, I laugh every time when he like stares at the camera and he's like real serious, and then he gets all "see you in hell." Like when he does that, I laugh every time. It's so good the way he does it.
I don't disagree with you.
I also, we didn't mention, it's very subtle, so it isn't worthy of a ton of discussion. Sure. I also loved how at the beginning of the show this week, when they were doing the whole dun 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 dun, when they did the whole intro thing, that it was flashing in the Bray Wyatt stuff was flashing in during that too. That was cool. I like that. That was cool.
Shows you the mix of these two guys battling for control.
It just feels like one whole it just feels like something bad is happening. Yeah, and I love that.
Yeah. Don't disagree with you. Well, something good that happened is Chad Gable and Baron Corbin go at it again. Match. This was, once again, I think this is what you do. You go, oh, wow, they really tore down the house. Let's do another rematch. This time, we make it so it's a DQ. The other guy wins, so he doesn't have a legitimate victory in terms of a pinfall, but certainly gets the victory, and both of them go over big time. I'm so shocked at the redemption of Corbin. It's incredible to see this. Gable, I've come around. I admitted last week on the show that, the fans are definitely behind this guy now. We'll see how long it lasts and how they book him. But certainly in this situation, these guys have good chemistry in the ring.
They really do.
Yeah.
They have great chemistry in the ring together. I think that Chad Gable, he had that crowd in the palm of his hand. Like, they thought that he was about to win. Yes. Everyone was into it. When he beats Corbin, he's going to get such a big reaction. So that's going to be great. The match itself, though, like you said, these two kill it in the ring together. They're both elevating each other, which is awesome.
That's good to see. And you wouldn't normally say, oh, Corbin and Gable, totally, this is going to work like crazy. You never know.
Yep. No, absolutely. And I think that.
Okay.
Oh, did they text you saying we got?
Yeah, I think we so. We still got two more things to talk about.
It's okay. Isn't there nothing in here 12:30?
Yeah, nothing until 12:30.
Calm down. But I also like that they didn't give away the fact that Corbin was going to be the king by showing what the outfit looked like. Because if you had seen that cape, and you would have known it was going to be Corbin. So I like they had Chad demolish it last week. So it, in essence, gave Corbin a reason to have his own fancy custom king outfit that looks like he's from Game of Thrones, which is such a Corbin thing because he likes taxidermy and stuff like that. So I like that his was more to him. And honestly, I like the whole presentation. I usually hate remixed versions of themes.
Yeah, sure.
But his stuff with the regal stuff going on in it and his whole look, I kind of liked it.
Yep, I'm not going to disagree with you.
I liked when he was calling himself the Constable. So this is kind of the Constable has now been promoted to King, and I like it.
This is my favorite version of Corbin so far.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I would agree with that. Yeah, and Gable, I'm coming around on Gable. I'm enjoying watching his matches, certainly. We'll see. My problem with Gable's always been the booking. It's never been necessarily his talent. It's been the booking. So we'll see how he, maybe, like you said, just need the right people to come along, and then, boom, it can elevate you out of where you were before. All right, let's move on to our next thing, and that is the Fatal 5-Way #1 Contenders match here. This was, I don't know, the result was good, but a bit kind of lame in the build-up, in my opinion.
Okay.
And
I just like that you said it was a bit good with a question mark, like you weren't sure.
Yeah, I mean it's nice that Ray wins, but because we've been like, oh, he was going to retire, so basically it was all trumped up.
I look at it differently. I think it's more so because next week is when WWE debuts on Fox.
Right.
So USA does not want to look like the lesser child.
Yeah, true.
The lesser show. They do not want to become the B show. They would like to continue Raw being the A show. So they're like, okay, well, on SmackDown, they're doing Brock Lesnar versus Kofi Kingston. On the premiere of Raw, we have to do something that's just as big. So we're also going to have Brock Lesnar on our show. Not wrestling, we're also going to have a title match where it's one of the top guys right now who's champion versus a legend of the ring. And so I see why they are doing it. They want to have they want to make sure the main event of Raw does not fall out of the conversation next week, when next week we have Raw, which is going to have that. Then we're going to have the debut of AEW going head-to-head against NXT and SmackDown Fox, and a blue carpet show before the premiere of Fox, where they're going to have celebrities showing up and stuff. So by Friday, a lot's going to have happened. And so you want to make sure that, I'm sure USA was like, you better have a banger as a main event to stand with this big week of wrestling now. And so Rey Mysterio versus Seth Rollins is a match we haven't really seen in a while. And is a banger. That will be a banger. Rey Mysterio has found new life in the ring. Yeah. And I feel like they're going to put them in one of those long 40-minute matches where they tell these two guys you guys go steal the show. Yeah. Go do it. And I bet you they will.
Yeah, probably true.
And I'm into that idea.
Okay. All right. Well, this is a Ray beating Nakamura and Robert Roode and AJ and Ricochet. So it was a good match. I mean, no complaints. Certainly no complaints. There was the match itself. Just in the end,
something that made me laugh was when we had the little mini Fortune reunion between Robert Roode and AJ Styles. They kind of came face to face, and the crowd chanted TNA. Yep. It's funny that I had to train myself to stop saying TNA and to only say Impact Wrestling, so I don't call it TNA anymore. But it's funny that the majority still views those guys as TNA guys, So it was fun to hear a TNA chant when the two of them came face to face for a second. That was cool.
Yeah, I agree. Fortune was fun.
I posted that picture. It was Frankie Kazarian, James Storm, Bobby Roode, AJ Styles, and Ric Flair.
Yeah.
Wild group there. I loved Fortune.
Wasn't the British dude in
I was going to say, and I think later Desmond Wolfe joined as well.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, Nigel McGuinness.
Because I remember that was one of my favorite back and forths was Jay Lethal and Flair when Jay did Flair. Holy crap.
Classic promo.
I still go back and watch those 8 to 9 minutes because Jay was so good at that. Yeah. And it's just, I've never seen anyone imitate Flair movement, but voice
it's perfect
was spot on, and Flair's reaction. And when Jay pulled out that old line that Flair hadn't used in a while, and Flair was like, "That's my line. That's my line." The legitimate surprise and respect and joy he felt at Jay pulling out that old line was genius.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, if you haven't watched that promo ever, go watch it. Jay Lethal versus Ric Flair, Fortune at TNA. It's incredible.
And probably my favorite time period in Impact.
Yeah,
TNA,
agreed.
I guess.
Agreed. I would agree with you 1,000% on that. All right, Seth Rollins versus Strowman finally happens here to end the night. This was the rematch that was promised. But this ended up being a no contest. Good match, though. But what does the no contest do?
I think it was right to say. I think it was the right call. I think what it does is it helps set up Braun to be in the cell, like you were saying earlier in the show. I think it sets up, if he didn't lose again, he was getting a title match. The Fiend messed it up. Throw him in the cell with the Fiend and Seth Rollins and let him go to town. I feel like they might be going in that direction. I don't have inside intel, but also it makes sense to why they said that initial announcement now was kind of ambiguous, but it mentioned Seth and Braun in the cage with the Fiend.
Right.
When it was spoiled via Twitter or whatever. So I feel like that's maybe where they're gonna go with it here. And honestly, man, everything they're doing with the Fiend is it's just like perfect right now, in my opinion. I mean, his presentation is so cool. You were waiting for him to. In my opinion, you were waiting for it to happen.
Yeah.
I was waiting for it to happen. Like, the Fiend's coming in here. He's getting one of them. I feel like next week he's getting Hogan.
Hogan? Shut your mouth.
You don't think so?
Hell no.
He can't do it to Flair. He's got to do it to Hogan.
Flair's the one who always gets it done.
That's why he can't do it to Flair. Loses its value.
How dare you?
If the Fiend shows up while Hulk Hogan's in the middle of a Miz TV and he busts the mandible claw on him, come on.
No.
Yeah, it's going to happen.
You don't do that to the Hulkster. No offense. You don't do that to the Hulkster.
Let him in.
You know something, brother? No, I don't want to see it. No, how dare you?
Yeah,
but they'll probably make him do it.
I think he's gonna do. I think that's where they're going with it. Maybe Flair, but if they had balls, they'd have him do it to Hogan. That's what I really want. I really want. They've done all of them in the ring. They haven't had the Fiend attack anyone backstage yet.
Yeah, true.
I would like them to do a thing where like you think it's gonna happen during Miz TV. Like you're waiting for it to happen during Miz TV, it doesn't.
Yeah.
And then there's some sort of like backstage segment with Hulk Hogan later in the show or something, or even just like where he's in his. I don't know. We're like.
Yeah, he could be back in his dressing room.
Back in his dressing room reading,
and
the lights start. That's what I'm like in the mirror. You see the Fiend show up behind Hulk Hogan or whatever. You don't even need to show what he does to him. You just have Seth run back after to go help Hulk or something. But that would be epic. That would be epic.
I guess you're right.
That would be cool. So yeah, I like it. And man, the stuff with the Fiend is so cool right now. I mean, the look on Seth's face in horror. Him having to put the mandible claw on Braun twice.
Yep. Which is good. Twice.
Yeah.
That means Braun. If anyone can fight back against the Fiend, that lays the groundwork that Braun can.
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought that's kind of why earlier in the show when I said that I think maybe they're going to go in that direction.
Yep.
I feel like they shuffled. They put Seth on SmackDown. I don't know if they're. I don't have any inside intel as a guess. They send Seth to SmackDown in the draft, and they do more focus on like Wyatt family.
Yeah, I hear you, but I just don't see that that's happening. And I tell you why. The two things. One, I think Seth doesn't go on this, waving the WWE flag thing if they're going to push him on SmackDown.
SmackDown's going to become the new A show. It is.
Okay. I get it, but people mentally, you're gonna have to change people's minds. So okay, maybe as I discuss
that's
it
how
with
you help change people's minds.
Yeah, as I discuss it with you, I kind of see the logic. All right. All right. I don't know if I see Fiend and Strowman leading Raw, but it's certainly possible.
You got to remember. I mean, we got Heyman there now.
Yeah, true.
And if there's anyone I feel like can finesse that storyline for a good few months, it's Heyman. I have faith in that.
Heyman, will you save EC3 for God's sakes? All right, anyway, that's our Raw recap here on Pro Wrestling Sheet. Thank you so much for watching or listening to us. Ryan, where can they watch, listen, and read everything we do?
ProWrestlingSheet.com, that's the website where you can find all the top stories in the world of professional wrestling throughout the week at Wrestling Sheet on social media, youtube.com/C/Wrestling Sheet. That's where you can find all the videos that we do, Raw and SmackDown recaps, Wrestling Sheet Radio, any interviews that I do as well. You can find them all there. Make sure you like the videos while you're there. Make sure you subscribe, comment, do all that kind of stuff. It helps out a lot. Don't be a dick and dislike it. Just be a very nice person and like it. That's all you got to do. It helps. It looks good, I hear. So please do that. But also, if you just want to listen while you're driving, working out, cooking, making love, doing whatever.
Making love.
Search on your favorite podcast platform for Wrestling Sheet Radio and subscribe there.
If you're making love, I hope you're enjoying it right now. All right, thanks, everybody. That's Ryan Satin. Follow him at Ryan Satin. Follow me at The Rocha Says. We'll talk to you tomorrow with a SmackDown Live recap. The last one we're going to do, I guess, right? When's this thing drop?
God, you're right. Yeah, we'll figure out a new schedule very soon. Don't worry. We'll discuss. Yeah, you're right, though. Yes, for a little bit, it'll probably be the last SmackDown recap for a little bit.
Yeah, we do. So, all right, come and join us for our last one. We'll have big party favors. Probably not. All right, take care, everyone. We'll talk to you soon. Have a good rest of your day.
Yeah, I'm sure everyone in Collider is going to be so bummed that we're going to have
ProWrestlingSheet.com